Good afternoon here from the West Coast, best coast, but the East Coast is pretty good, all right, too. If you're watching here and clocking this on social media, do us a favor, ring this bell. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscriptions. I'm up to 550. Help me out. Help me out. All you got to do is hit subscribe, ring the bell, share it, a like, and hit a comment. If you hit a comment on a live show, I will give you a shout on the show, assuming I can see it, because we are streaming like 15 places, so sometimes I don't always see your comment. If you want to subscribe to this podcast and get a new episode every Wednesday, you go to engagingvirtualmeetings.online, and you'll get to our podcast available on all 13 of the amazing places to get podcasts. In addition to that, if you ever wanted to meet me in person, or more importantly, experience the versions of engagement that I love to create, this year the Engaging Conference will be, for the first time, hybrid. Here you can get a free ticket at engagingvirtualmeetings.com/con. Please consider the VIP ticket, which will put you on Zoom. You can interact and ask questions to our speakers, as well as get 80 hours of training. And you can, for the first time ever, 150 lucky people will get to be here in person. We will feed you, give you beverages, but most importantly, you will really meet the people and you will see behind the scenes on how we create hybrid engagement. Now, this person, we have another amazing guest. This is so great that we have, I had a guest today on a podcast who wrote an article about podcasting. How recursive is that? This person is revolutionizing technology. She wants to connect people via inclusive and collaborative skills. Shout out again to my API speaker showcase yesterday. It was so amazing. And all the speakers are talking about, for the first time, what it's like to feel that every single speaker in a conference was Asian. We're going to do it again. She was named the top 10 women founders to watch in 2023 by the Forbes Group, not just by some guy named Fred or some woman named Mary. So important to that. And what was so great too, 82% of the speakers yesterday on the Asian Pacific Islander Speaker Showcase were women. You women, y'all are killing it in a great way. I just want to encourage you to do even more. One day there will actually be equity. Let's welcome to the stage the CEO of SkillVill.com, and we're going to do a live demo. The one, the only, Alexis Snelling. I can tell the orchestra to cut it. Hi, Alexis.
Hello.
How
I love your intro.
how are you? Good. Thank you. How are you doing today? What's the word of the day on how you feel?
Oh my gosh, today is sunny. Are in San Francisco. We are on the West Coast as well, and it has been raining. They call it atmospheric river the last 2 weeks, which is very unusual for us. So this is the first day we've had sun in a very long time. So I'm extra sunny today.
Well, I'm going to be extra sunny with you as part of my 4-city tour coming up. I'll be speaking in Orlando, Salishan, Oregon, San Francisco, where I hope to have dinner with you and the dude, and eventually I'll be going to Albuquerque, New York. So,
Yeah, we look forward to it.
so it should be great. I think I chose an East Indian restaurant, by the way. So hopefully
Oh,
that
it looked
is okay.
amazing. There's so many great foodie places, and we haven't tried that one yet. So thank you for finding a new one.
Speaking of finding a new one, Alexis, a few of my friends don't know you yet, so why don't you just take a moment, introduce who you are and what you do.
Yes, I'm Alexis Snelling. I'm the CEO with the co-founder, my husband, David Snelling of SkillVill. And SkillVill is a social network. It's based totally on skills. This is how we connect with one another and help each other level up by sharing our superpowers and teaching and learning skills together.
Amazing. And so let's talk a little bit about SkillVill. What is SkillVill? Since I bet a lot of my friends, and myself included, about a few weeks ago, didn't know.
Yeah. So SkillVille, one thing that's really unique is we wanted to create a way for us to connect with people in more meaningful and engaged ways, which is why we love everything that you do and we follow you on engaged virtual meetings because it's all about the quality of connections. And when you're in person, you can really connect with people in a more human way. And the lasting connections that we have are usually when we find fellow humans who share interests and skills or experiences or can help each other achieve whatever it is that they're looking to do in life next. And so we wanted to really create a space where people could come together and instead of looking backward on social media at all my friends and who likes who and all that stuff that's kind of looking at my past, let's look at where we want to go and meet new people. And that's how we connect is for those shared purposes and skills, because that's how we're going to get from where we are today to where we want to go tomorrow.
Now, speaking of getting to where you want to go, Alexis, I just want to give a shout out to myself because I was sharing the screen so I could show you what was happening on SkillVille, and I left it running on share screen. So this really awesome professional opening was only sharing whatever I was sharing on that screen on the top left. And I just discovered this is one of the reasons why. Well, one is this is the fun part when you run a show live, right? And the second
Exactly.
part is that why you need to monitor the stuff you're doing. I think social media is the same way, which is if you don't like Google your name occasionally and
Right.
find out what other people are saying to you, not just what's in your own feed, right? You don't get the feedback and you don't discover your mistake. The problem is you could be making a mistake. I could have made a mistake for 45 minutes on this interview. And luckily I found it in time. And if you have really great friends, whatever that called the friend factor is like when you
Yeah.
have a chive in your tooth, like you got a big thing here in your
Yeah.
tooth.
They tell you right here. Yeah. Oh, got a
Yeah.
thing right here.
If you're one of my real friends, you're going to lean in and you're going to go like, Alexis, I love you so much. And I just need to tell you that you got a big old chive in your tooth. And
So
you
what
like
we need,
you're
we need to have a signal. If I start putzing with my headphones, you'll know.
and but I'd rather have somebody tell me than let me walk around with a chive in my tooth the whole time. So
Totally. That's real friends. Real
yeah.
friends.
So tell
Yeah.
me like in social media, right? What's one of the ways that you can monitor? You have any advice on
Yeah.
the social scene? Like how can you monitor what others are saying about you?
Yeah, so there's a lot of unique ways to do this, but one of the proactive ways I always like to think forward in general, because we could do a lot of cleaning up later. But if we could do some basic things to help us be proactive, so that, like you said, there's a feedback loop, then we can let technology kind of help let us know as an assistant, hey, look, you're missing something.
Mm.
So I would say the proactive feedback loops that you can set up that would really help how you're being seen is having on any of your platforms a feedback loop, whether it's a survey, a gift, user generated content, something that adds value to people. There's a reason they would want to do this, but also can provide you, whether it's a testimonial or whether it's an idea or share something you like and something you'd fix, or that I could do
Oh.
better. I think it's just as simple as asking people and inviting and encouraging feedback. Always feedback, feedback, feedback.
It's those you. I mean, those two questions sound like openers to me. Like, is that something? Have you studied like the social dynamic and you know, a lot of people ask me like, what are some great openers? So I'm curious, Alexis. You gave a few, but what are some of your other favorite openers you use to start creating connection?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest thing for connection is share something that's specific and open. Uh, if we can distill things down to treating others the way we want to be treated,
Yeah.
anything that falls aligned with that is, I feel like, usually a pretty solid ramp for others to like follow your lead. And so be that brave person and, be honest and candid about who you are. Work on being more authentic, transparent, real. Like you just did. You had the wrong screen up. You don't ignore it, and you're like, "Hey, oops." that was me. Sorry. Because we're all human. So I think the more you can showcase yourself as being human, others will follow suit. And it also just makes them feel more comfortable with you because you could ask people all day long what they think, but whether or not they're going to take the time to do it really depends if they feel like you, I'm connected with you, or I get you, or you get me. And so some of that's, you got to show who you are first.
Some like in the sales people are like they buy from people they know, like, and trust.
Mhm.
It's one of the
Mhm.
words they say around that. So talk to me then about psychological safety. I feel like psychological
Mhm.
safety is probably one of those things that
Yeah.
says so because like that, like I made a mistake. Like if I was
Mhm.
trying to do the professional thing, I'm trying to think, I would try and gloss over it. I might not
Yeah.
say anything, you
Right.
know. I know I'm gonna get called out on it. Like people know, like now that I
Yeah.
set such a high standard, like when I get
Yeah.
caught on mute, when it is rare, but I tell people to this day, I still
Yeah.
38 years of practice, I can still get caught on mute. It's not your fault.
Exactly. No, I agree. I think that's like a big thing. It's like if anybody saw the Super Bowl, the Alicia Keys, you go back and you change the recording and you autocorrect, or do you just be honest and be like, it was live. That's what it was. Admit it, move on. Like there's different schools of thought. And I think the world is savvy, the world gets it. And the more authentic and real, even the bloopers, kind of the better.
I kind of like in coins, for instance, when they misprinted a certain type of coin, some of
More
those now
value.
have gone up in extraordinary value because they're rare.
That's
Or,
it.
or, or
Yeah.
is the value in the authenticity of the screw up? I don't know, but I think it's kind of
It,
funny that often a screw up, but to me, I'm a virtual MC in a lot of programs, and it turns out I believe a lot of people, oh, like this. Now, look, my camera froze today. Look at this. This is the
oh, yeah.
amazing.
That's amazing. How are you talking like a ventriloquist without moving your lips or anything? Oh, wow. And now you're like AI. You're like a totally different thing.
Well, Alexis, the next thing I'm going to tell you is going to ask you a very deep question. Prompt, 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 prompt. The question is, how is psychological safety better than perfection? Trump,
Oh,
Trump, Trump.
gosh. So many ways. Let's put it in the context of connection and community. You know, we're all better. We all have different perspectives, unique perspectives. And so when you can be fully who you are, mistakes and all, then other people can too. And that is the secret sauce of so many great things.
I
Great
just want to tell
ideas.
you that my camera did not
You're back.
freeze in a weird, awkward position. Okay. I just that never happens to me. I like do all the things so that they would never do the perfection.
I was gonna say, it almost was like a gag. Like we were talking about not having to be perfect all the time and being more real. And then there was another glitch. I swear the universe, it's agreeing with us.
What is the most? If you don't mind, I'll share one of
Yeah,
mine. Right?
sure.
What is one of the most could have been potentially embarrassing, but like weird? Like it's like pandemic. What is one of the weirdest things that happened online in the last 4 years? I'll give you one. One was
Mm.
my good friend Jimbo Clark was in Taiwan, joined our Zoom meeting, had Bluetooth earphones so he could hear, but he put his phone and strapped it onto the front of his motorcycle and gave us a real virtual tour of Taiwan for like 20 minutes on a Zoom meeting. It was fantastic.
That's amazing. I love that idea. I think that could turn into a business. Tours, virtual tours, live tours of wherever you're at. A day in the life of John Chen.
Oh, I
We could
just
be on tour with you, with your
somebody
tour.
that would be funny. Somebody who pays. I mean, this is what live streaming is, to be honest. But somebody pays to connect to my Zoom, and I run Zoom all day and just like give them an insider's view of what it's like.
Yeah,
And oh,
I
wow,
call it the fly on the wall.
yeah, fly on the wall.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I
that'd be your fly on the wall episodes.
You know what though? This is a platform. Like you should open a channel for this or a circle for this in a few moments, which
Yeah.
is like Cameo, right? Cameo
Yeah.
allows people to get famous people to say things. Now, what if you paid to like spend a day with a famous person?
Yeah. Absolutely. We experimented a little bit with the concept that was around that at the Wired 30th anniversary event here in San Francisco.
Oh,
We
ooh,
went as SkillVill and we broadcasted live from the event.
mhm.
And then we would ask people who, because of course it was a very hot ticket and not everybody could get in, and there were a limited number of seats, but there were incredible speakers from like, the godmother of AI and all these incredible, inspiring people. There was the director of photography for the Barbie movie who was there. So, really, really cool people. But why should this little audience who could get a ticket be the only ones to hear it? Right. And
Yeah.
so, we walked around broadcasting live from my phone on SkillVille and said, and literally took questions from people online. And then I would go up afterwards and like stand up and like ask questions. And it was like I was their virtual avatar at the event
Avatar,
that
yeah,
they
live
couldn't be at.
avataring.
I was
Yeah,
like live
that's.
avataring. It was so
Mm.
much fun. So it kind of
I
like, yeah,
can
there's a lot of potential there.
I can share that what is it? Norm from Cheers. I paid for the cameo and because the
Yes.
theme of my conference that year was the new norm.
That's
So
great. Oh,
that's
that's
how we
awesome
opened the
tie in.
conference was this guy, oh, virtual meetings, that's a good idea, right? So
I
he
think
was
that's the
great.
joy of virtual is like these things
Uh,
that don't always happen in the real world.
can
Here's a space
happen.
that could happen.
Yeah. All right, speaking of things that happen in the real world, so talk to me too maybe about the genesis moment that said, we need a Skillville.
Yeah. So it's an evolution of a previous ed tech company and product that we had created that was all around micro learning. So that
Mm.
was something that my husband and I had worked on. We went over to Tokyo and presented the Deloitte Innovation Summit. We were one of the Keiretsu Forum companies that presented there. That was a big kind of aha moment of wow, even in Japan, they're excited about this idea. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
um, but when we came back, it was right before the pandemic. And I was facing a lot of challenges being a female entrepreneur trying to fundraise. And whether you're female or not female or anything, fundraising is there's a lot of challenges around raising money for a startup when you don't have wealthy family and friends who could just write the check to get an idea off the ground. And so, in that process and in the lockdown, we really realized the aha moment is there's a lot of people who, the way that you would have pursued your idea and started your company before the pandemic, once we were locked down, totally changed. Now investor meetings are not in the coffee shop and you're running around Silicon Valley. We actually moved from Bellevue. We were up in Seattle by you, and we moved down to this area here in San Francisco for investors. And then the lockdown happened. So the whole reason for the move was to physically be in a place where we could pursue that. And
Yeah.
then the lockdown happened. So it was like the Wild West of how do we now connect with the resources and the investors and the people virtually.
Yep.
That's when the whole thing just evolved. It was like, well, wow, we tested it with entrepreneurs, we tested it with innovation centers, we tested our ideas and really discovered the core of the problem
Yep.
is being able to connect in more meaningful ways and being able to connect with a purpose, being really, really specific about why it is we're connecting, because otherwise we're just wasting a lot of people's time. And when you're a founder, time's money. And often that's your savings or that's the last runway you have. So we realized this was really important for anybody who is in business to find a better way to connect with people and resources at the moment they truly need it. Because for them, it's a life or death scenario. It's not just, hey, wouldn't it be better if? It's like, no, like if I don't do this quickly, even during a pandemic and a lockdown,
Mm.
I only have X amount in the bank account, or I only have,
Oh,
so much.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There were definitely those. Yeah. Okay. Well, check
So
this out.
that was it.
Speaking of life or death situations, watch this. Okay, so I'm going to do something I've never done
Oh,
before. Hold on. Let's see if I can get this done right. Let's see. There we go. Okay, ready? Three. 3, 2, 3, 2 3/4. There we go. Okay, watch this. Now put your right hand up. Yeah,
Oh,
right here. Ready? High five. No, other hand. Yes, this one right here. High five me. Yay. Okay. So what we have here is this is SkillVill.
yes.
What we're seeing now here is SkillVill. And so walk us through some tabs and then
Yeah.
we'll go to a circle that we just built. Okay.
Absolutely. So, what you're seeing here, this is the fly on the wall we were talking about earlier. You can see what people are doing right now in the feed. You're not seeing specifics, private, like no privacy, but you can see, hey, somebody's in a circle or somebody's doing something, or there's a live event happening right now. I might want to join. So, join. So, this is kind of like your fly on the wall. So,
Mhm.
as you build your network, which I'll show you in a second, your network is going to start appearing here. So as you join more circles, build your network. Now, fly on the wall. You don't have to ask so and so, hey, what are you up to? What are you doing? You can kind of see, oh, hey, they're doing something. I might want to go to that circle, which is the lower right hand corner, and check
Uh,
out that circle and see what they're doing in there.
like this. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So you could go to your circle, which is that API that we just created, or there's a circle,
Okay,
and
so
see
over
what's
here is
happening.
this is the circle tab that says these are all the circles like find or start a circle, correct?
Yeah. So a circle is like a group, like a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group. And it's anytime people want to come together to do something. It sounds pretty general, but they're what you do together, how whether it's teaching a skill, sharing a skill, doing an event, networking, totally up to you. In fact, you're probably going to use the circle at different times for
Hmm.
different reasons that you come together. But if you think of it as just physically, anytime there's as little as two people coming together, up to invite the whole world and go up to millions in your circle.
Ew, that'd be kind of cool. Coffee circles that can only have two people in it, or mentor circles that only have two people in it. Okay, anyways, so now
Yes, yes,
this
that is
is
a good one.
this is my cool new brand, a new circle. So we were talking before, and she was talking about, oh, look at you, and now you're gonna break your
Woo!
Mac. Yes, more broken stuff.
Oh, you didn't do that? I thought
No,
you
that's
did
a
that as
Mac
an
thing. Now watch
effect.
this. Do this. Make a heart. Ta-da!
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
so okay. I think I saw that earlier where I did something and a thumbs up appeared on the screen. It
Just
must
do
have
one.
been
Do one thumbs up. Boop boop.
oh my gosh.
It's a Mac thing, and
See?
the best part is your camera's freezing on yours, so something is not quite right on your computer. But
Okay.
we talked about that earlier. Okay. So anyway, so here's the circle, and by the way, this is some
Awesome.
crafty use of DAL E as part of Chat GPT, which I have been
Very
speaking
nice.
about. And so I wanted to find a quick logo, and
Looks great.
Alexis said, I mean, make some commentary about this logo. What do you like about this logo?
Yeah. I love it. I mean, first of all, I'm a fan of art that has high contrast for logos because
Red
they
black.
pop.
Yeah.
So, red, black, a little bit of white to just make it more dramatic. Huge fan. We all have many layers to ourselves, and I love that you created a circle that's about your culture and something else that you're passionate about because that's the stuff where I just feel like we could really connect. Like I already am learning quite a bit just putting this circle together with you about I was saying I don't know what an API is in my world. That's something different than what it was in your world, but now I know. So
Yes. For if you're for on the tech geek side, an API often refers to an application programming interface, which is
that's
the
right.
set of interfaces that you give, such as like to add a graphic, right? Would be an API, and you just if somebody did all the work for you, you just say add a graphic, and then you put a pointer to a file, and then magically this stuff happens. And so
Yeah.
again,
I think yours is much more popular in the world. I think if we were to go
uh,
with the more commonly known
uh,
API, I feel like you might, have a greater population there.
Asian Pacific Islanders, I think, are supposed to be the majority within 10 years compared to, I believe, Caucasian right now is the dominating race. Anyways, let's talk about
I
this. So
love
I put this logo in and I wrote
it.
this stuff here. It says the circles are for those who identify as Asian Pacific Islanders. So that's what API is. The API plus Circle, that's what I named this place, are Asian
Cool.
Pacific Islanders and allies who strive to improve API representation in the world. Through education, advocacy, and allyship, we elevate and amplify API voices and create a community to ensure visibility, inclusion, and belonging. So that's pretty good.
Love
And
it.
then, first talk about what has happened in a circle, and then we'll talk about how we can actually
Yeah.
improve this description.
I love it. So, what we realize is anytime two people come together to work on something together, no matter what the purpose is, there are activities or actions that humans can do together. And this is
Yeah.
everything from education to business to pitching, no matter what it is. And we've distilled that down into the tabs that you see inside of a circle. So, this is your toolkit. The first tab here, of course, is our broadcast area. So if you wanted to turn on the broadcast, you would actually be able to broadcast live right here from
Wait,
your
can I
homepage.
actually broadcast live one of my screens? I don't know if I could recursively do this. I feel like we
Well,
want to break something. Can I do that?
it, let's go for it. So in the lower,
That's
so
the
you're the
spirit.
host. Give it a second.
Okay.
Um, we'll
We,
see. It's really up to your computer because you might be using
oh,
all your,
okay. I
yeah. Oh, you
use
need
my
to allow it.
camera mic. Okay. So maybe
Let's
it'll.
see if it'll do it because this is very meta. You're in a meeting, broadcasting a meeting where you're going to broadcast another meeting. This is really trying to break things. I love it.
Am I waiting for something? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, it would have come up by now, but let's try to make it public. Maybe that'll do it. See if we can force it. Oh, I think it's not going to let us do it because you're already broadcasting from your.
I can ask to speak in my own meeting.
You
Okay,
could.
let's end it then. All right. Well,
We're
anyways,
gonna. We'll do that one where we just are broadcasting from SkillVill, and that way people can see what it looks like.
so
Um,
the key here, though, like all good social media, is it saying that other people can join, we can start having a discussion, we can do things like events and so forth and so on. What makes Skillville different than, let's say, something I use like a LinkedIn or a Facebook group?
So the key differences is when we come together, we know, okay, we're actually working on something together. We have a purpose
Hmm,
for the meeting space
yep.
versus a general interest. I
Hmm,
like hashtag X.
yeah.
You like hashtag X. Well,
X
there's
is
a
another
lot of
social
things.
media platform now,
Oh
unfortunately.
gosh, I definitely don't want to
Ah,
condone or
ah.
support. In fact, I'm off X, so you won't find me on X. But I think, that's a big difference because it's almost like you're pre-qualifying who you're connecting with. You're connecting with like-minded individuals who are also trying to do what you're trying to do. So
Yeah.
you're already with people that you are ready to collaborate. You're not trying to figure out, hey, who wants to collaborate? Who wants to do an event? Well, we're all here because we already decided we wanted to be here and we're here to do this. So that's number one. So once you're in, it's like, let's start interacting. And the other thing is really all of the functionality. When you're on social, you often have to leave social to start collaborating to plan these things. And our tabs allow you to do everything in one spot. So if we let's go to the next tab, which is our tasks tab. This is where you can create a task or we can create new ones. Let's go to my circle since we haven't actually set up any tasks for you yet. Because yours will be blank because we haven't set up anything to appear here yet. That's what you're going to do as a creator of your circle. But we could start a new topic. We could start like the Slack, get the discussion going. And this is really unique to Slack because instead of Slack being like a million different conversation threads, here as people connect and want to engage in the group, I might even join you right now in your circle so that I could respond. It'll move that discussion topic to the top. So kind of like a dinner party. If it came up again, then you could join back in the discussion. Maybe it was a discussion 3 months ago, but now it's relevant again. It would move to the top. So everything's based on, is it relevant right now?
I want to give a shout out to Teresa Savadalgo from.
Oops, I think I lost your sound. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, did I lose my sound? I might have probably lost my sound. Okay.
We really do have all the technical.
Yeah, but batteries ran out on the wireless mic. So this is, by the way, yes, I'm going to freeze on purpose. And we're back.
That was quite a frozen image for everybody.
That was great. Okay, so yeah, people join. So you're saying I think what you're trying to say is SkillVill tried to take the best of a lot of different things and put it into the one place so you don't have to go somewhere else.
You don't have to, yeah, everything's centralized and it's all about doing. It's actually not just about talking about it. It's what are the next steps? What do we do to actually
Now that's
do it?
powerful. So here's something you might be able to borrow from my friend. I'm gonna give a shout out to Marty Dickinson. He likes
Okay,
to
Marty.
call his stuff do shops because they're
Nice.
not work shops. They're do shops. You're gonna do
love
something
that.
when you're in his do shop. Now, there's a lot of other metaphors now that I said it out loud as a do shop, but I do like the doing. Right? I do think that.
I just joined your circle, by the way.
Oh, look at you!
There I
Beautiful
am.
picture. You have that 50s vibe, you know, with the black hair and the red lipstick.
Yeah, my hair color changes all the time, but this one is fun. Yeah, you're right. I see that.
We just saw Postmodern Jukebox, so we're a fan of that
Ooh,
ragtime
great.
50. Oh, front row center. It was great. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
anybody who doesn't know, Google that one. Look on YouTube, watch. They are great.
All right, so we did something here too, and she goes, "Well, why don't you write your description?" A lot of people are writing their descriptions with ChatGPT. We're like, okay. So here's, and by the way, prompting. I think Alexis will support this. Prompting is the skill of 2024.
It is.
So
It's everything.
Right, the way you write your questions dictates the quality of the answer that you get. So if you are new on AI, this is the thing you got to learn. Okay.
Yes. So this is where the creative comes in. The human comes in.
So there's a couple of things that we said here too, like if we're teaching AI skills. As a community expert and marketing expert, you can tell it to assign a kind of an identity. So as is a really powerful thing, right? As a newbie, as a politician, as a president of a country, right? Or, you know, president of an association, write an invitation to join SkillVill's API Plus Circle, specifically for Asian Pacific Islanders and supportive allies who support the hashtag Stop Asian Hate movement. So now it says, subject, join SkillVill's API Plus Circle, amplify your impact against Asian hate, dear blah, 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 in an area, blah, blah, blah. And this is the problem.
And then we did the drum roll, which lasted a long time because this is a long.
Oh, yeah. So here, we'll simulate the drum roll. The drum roll sounded like this. We're like, oh, and it's writing, and so it's doing this. And it's doing this.
And it was like 5 minutes later by the time it finished.
We're like, that's the email nobody reads, Alexis.
Exactly.
TLDR.
I know. I used to do too many of those. I learned the hard way.
So, Alexis, why don't you describe the follow-up prompt? So one of the cool things is the context that you can give actually short commands that are related to the last thing that you did. So what was your style here? Your
Mine
technique?
was rewrite this for a goldfish's attention span, which they say it's an actual thing, right? That the modern like attention span of humans on social media, on anywhere that you'd be posting this, is like less than a goldfish. I think goldfish is what, 30 seconds attention span, maybe?
30 seconds is a friggin' eternity now. The average attention, where I got it here. Here, wait, I can actually bring it in.
Oh, perfect.
The average attention span for the notoriously ill-focused goldfish is 9 seconds.
Yes.
But Microsoft says people lose it in 8. We're worse.
You know what though? But this number is going faster and faster, right? So it's getting smaller and smaller. So yeah, there it goes. It's already gone.
So
we already forgot what we were talking about.
No, this is one of my Microsoft skills, which is called tracking. So even though we might be ADHDing a lot right now, I will always circle back to it, or I will purposely ignore it, right? But I won't do it unconsciously. I will do it by choice. Okay, so this says now, here's the one thing I gotta share with you. These are my observations, Alexis. So be ready to share yours. Goldfish love emojis.
Definitely.
And goldfish also love bullet point. Is anybody
And
watching us? Trey says, "Chat something, please." I think this is funny. Okay, so let's. What,
this is how
what are
much
some of
fun
your
we
observations?
have, and we haven't even like engaged yet with others. We're just saying, well, I'm engaging with you, so it's to say we're engaging.
Oh, I know. You know what? I'm going to break something too. I have to make sure. I hope this is. Oh,
You
oh
know
yes.
why I love breaking things? And I want
Why?
to give people permission to
Yeah.
please break things. Drop
Yeah.
that plate on the floor and say, Opa, you got to do it, because that's when sometimes, like this, we tried to break it and it worked, or we tried to break it and it was fun. But you try things, experiment, you learn a lot.
That was my mantra and continues to be my mantra, which is fail faster than anybody else, and soon you'll be an expert. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Goldfish love emojis. Like, hey, Alexis, dive into SkillVill's API Plus Circle, a community for Asian Pacific Islanders and allies. Let's fight Asian hate together. Oh, I like that. What's in it for you? This I thought was a really smart line.
Why
What's
you
in it
care?
for you?
Yeah.
Right?
What
That
am
was
I going
genius.
to get? I know.
Support this too. Like apparently, goldfish are like people who I hear this a lot. Maybe in our younger audience or members or friends. Supportive community vibes, texts and tools to make a difference, workshops to learn and grow. We're gonna do shops, by the way. Fun events and
Yes.
meetups. Who should join? Anyone passionate about Stop Asian Hate? How to hop in? Click in here. We have a link. Let's unite, innovate, and amplify. Ooh, I like the 3-part alliteration there.
Yes.
That's really genius.
That was
So,
catchy. That's catchy. And I like the you, yes, really you. Like, totally as if this AI gets us. It's very nice human touch there.
okay. Well, anyway, so that's prompting in real time. We did that all pre-show, and it was some pretty genius stuff. Okay, so
Yeah,
let's see if I can transition back. I don't know. This is going to be really complicated. And
that's okay.
here we
More
go.
breaking.
So I do have
Yeah.
to close up because the best part too, when we spent so much time breaking stuff, my next meeting showed up. But Alexis, I'm just going to ask the closing one part here. We already saw that. You're already showing us the future. That's part. If
Yeah.
there's one thing you want people to remember from this interview, what is that one thing?
I think the one thing is, if you have a skill, and everyone does, so don't say you don't.
Thank you.
Because what would you have told yourself 5 years ago? That's your skill then. Everybody has something, right, that they wish they had known 5 years ago. There's people that you can help right now. And by coming onto a community, making that difference, we are really creating this space where we can really make an impact together. And that brings us to, when you're feeling overwhelmed with the world right now, whether your passion is Asian Pacific Islanders and amplifying their voice and, this mission, we see hashtags, but hashtags are not very fulfilling. Here, you can actually make that hashtag a fulfilling exercise. You're actually doing it, you're connecting with others in more meaningful ways. And this is something that we just want you to know: your superpower, your skill. Bring it to SkillVill.
Yeah.
Join others if you're afraid. Get
Yep.
comfortable with it, because this is so rewarding. This is the future of social. We're not just talking about it, we're doing it.
Well, there we go. I put a link into my circle, so go there, get a free account, join my circle, especially if you're one of my allies. And so, what I heard from you, Alexis. Well, Alexis, first off, I just want to say thank you, and thank you for breaking a whole bunch of stuff with me. I appreciate you.
Anytime. I know that's part of my official duties here, is go on and break things.
There we go. So, speaking of which, here's my conclusion, Alexis. I think you're going to love this closing. Connection is the vaccine for loneliness. So join a circle. And my best other thing I want you to remember from this interview is change the batteries on your wireless mic before you start an interview. I'm John Chen. I'll see you next time. And look, I broke another button. Here we go. Bye.
Always start people and keep old people. Show you got heart. Now we're playing the game.
Alexis, this is the part where we talk over the closing video and try and pretend like we forgot our mics are on.
Ready
Oh, fantastic. No, great job breaking things. And anytime you need it, I'll be back on to help you break more.
I gotta pick